the previous session, we went through an overview of the 7 universal laws, its history, its association with other spiritual systems, and why it matters. In this session, we're going to cover the law of cause and effect and discover how we may see its principles in our lives. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law, the Kabbalion. So how are we able to relate to this law through personal experiences? In order to understand why we show up the way we do, at any given moment, we must understand our history, such as events that happen in our childhood, circumstances surrounding our birth, our parents' story, and their parents, and so on. When it's said that someone has a damaged root chakra, it means that they are negatively conditioned by past experiences. Trauma is intergenerational, and the body keeps the score. This area of focus is not purely abstract because of how our formative years biophysically shape the perception of our reality today. Between the 17th and 30th day after conception, the neurotube forms in the embryo and then closes. The neurotube later becomes the baby's spinal cord, spine, brain, and skull. The heart of an embryo starts to beat from around 5 to 6 weeks of pregnancy. The heart of a fetus is fully developed by the 10th week. Although the heart is the first organ that is formed, the spine is the bridge that stimulates formative growth, and the complex biological networks associated with the chakra points are along the spine. This forms the nervous system, which is the major controlling, regulatory, and communicating system in the body. It is the center of all mental activity, including thought, learning, and memory. Millions of sensory receptors detect stimuli occurring inside and outside the body. These receptors monitor such things as temperature, light, and sound from the external environment. All this gathered information is called sensory input. Sensory input is converted into electrical signals called nerve impulses that are transmitted to the brain. There, the signals are brought together to create sensations to produce thoughts or to add to memory. Decisions and actions are made each moment based on the sensory input. Based on the sensory input and integration, the nervous system responds by sending signals to muscles, causing them to contract, or to glands, causing them to produce secretions. Muscles and glands are called effectors because they cause an effect in response to the direction from the nervous system. This is the motor output or motor function. And understanding this information is important because medical and spiritual practices focus on somatic approaches to releasing trauma and other conditioned responses is the long and steady journey towards self-mastery. When we change our thoughts, we change our life. Since each manifestation of generic selection, energetic creation, and formative growth is different, the best way for us to comprehend the infinite variations of causes and their effects is through the study of sacred geometry and numbers. Our consciousness is based solely upon the relationship of quantities to the absolute. We can only conceive of this absolute state in relation to quantity. Before the root, there's the seed, and at the very basic of the seed in the philosophical sense is the monad. The monad, from Greek monas, meaning unit, is an elementary individual substance that reflects the order of the world and from which material properties are derived. From the monad, which is represented by a point surrounded by an outer circle, we have two circles that creates a duad, which is also known as a visca Pisces. 3 circles creates the triad or trinity. 4 circles creates the tetrad, and so on until we get the seed of life, the flower of life, the fruit of life, and the tree of life. And that concludes our session on the law of cause and effect. For more information, visit the Foundation's Ko-fi page. In the next session, we'll be covering the law of gender, also known as the sacral chakra.